Hello everybody, what is up? Welcome back to my channel. I hope you're having a wonderful morning, afternoon, evening, whatever you may be watching this. And if you're new here, hi, I'm Jessica. If you're watching this, you probably already know what a 30 before 30 list is, but just in case you don't, it's basically a list of 30 things that you want to accomplish before you turn 30. This could range from big things like adventures you want to go on, goals you want to accomplish, businesses you may want to start, and should also, in my opinion, include littler things as well, like reading your TBR, going to local coffee shops, and different things along those lines. So how do you choose just what exactly you want on your 30 before 30 list? The way I did this is I started thinking about things that make me happy and goals that I want to accomplish that I haven't yet. Think about the things that you love to do, both big and small, goals you've started, things you want to accomplish in life, and just anything along those lines. This is a great starting point for you to figure out just what exactly you may want, and then you can start to narrow things down from there. Or ultimately you're going to end up with a list of 30 things you want to accomplish. Don't be afraid to include some small things, so to speak, on here as well. I also want to say don't be afraid to start off vague with some things and get more specific as time goes on. I started this list last year and knew that I wanted to do some things with my business, wanted to really make sure that I focused on adventure and travel, where that's obviously something that I love, and then I also wanted to focus on personal growth as well. So for me, this list really just started as picking 3 different areas that I wanted to focus on, and it kind of started off with just a couple of things in each area as well. When it came to getting inspiration for things that I wanted to include on this list and kind of filling in some gaps, so to speak, I heavily relied on both YouTube and Pinterest to figure out just what would work best for me and my 30 before 30 list. Now that we've talked about what a 30 before 30 list is and how you can create your own, let's talk about what I have on my list. The first category that I want to talk about is travel and adventure, a huge thing for me that I love and enjoy. The first thing that I have on my list is visiting 10 new states, which will bring my grand total to 27 states visited. After figuring that out, I'm kind of considering changing that to 13 states just to bring my total to 30 states before I turn 30. And then I also want to travel internationally as well, where I haven't before. I think this is probably going to look like 3 separate international trips, with some of those trips visiting multiple countries. But as the years go on and we figure out exactly what international travel will look like for us, I will have a better idea of what that will specifically be. I also want to visit 30 total national parks to bring my total to 30 before I turn 30. Again, I kind of like that number. I have a goal ultimately to visit all of the national park managed sites, but especially all of the major ones. So this would bring my total to almost half, which would be a great point to be at. And along those same lines, I also want to go on 30 hikes, both in Utah and just kind of anywhere we may travel. Hiking is something that I really love and enjoy doing and want to really focus on doing more of that. This kind of ties in to another one of my goals on this list, but I want to go on trips with both sides of our families, take some family trips, and then I also want to go on a solo trip as well to have that experience. These have all been relatively big things so far, but another one of the big ones is to create and accomplish a Utah bucket list. I've always kind of taken living in Utah for granted up until recently, so I really want to make the most of our time here and living around such beautiful nature. So some of the sort of smaller things in my travel and adventure category are to start documenting our travels through like a travel journal and a scrapbook. And I also want to really learn to paddleboard and go regularly. I purchased a paddleboard, I believe it was 2 summers ago, and have only taken it out once, so I definitely need to make better use of that for sure. We also want to adopt a puppy. So this one kind of, but kind of doesn't fit into this category, but it's one thing that I wanted to include and just kind of stuck it here. We both had dogs growing up and have just had cats since moving out, so we want to get a doggo to have an adventure pup with us. And then the last couple of things in the travel adventure category are to try 10 new cuisines. I have never really focused on being that adventurous with the different foods that I've tried, and I'm wanting to make a difference there, which is why I included this. And then I also want to attend 20 adult ballet classes. Ballet and dance was something that I absolutely loved doing growing up and as a kid, and really want to get back into that as an adult. Now let's talk about the different things that I have in the personal growth category, as I've named it. One of the things that I have already accomplished is to get a meaningful tattoo, so I'll talk about that in a little bit of a different video, but I'll include a little video here for you guys to show you what it looks like. And then I also want to read both my physical TBR list and my Goodreads TBR. I have bought several books over the years that have just sat on my bookshelf and not get read, and I am desperately trying to change that habit. And I also keep adding books to my Goodreads and not reading them, so I love reading and I just need to get back into that habit again. A couple of skills that I had as a kid that I want to relearn are both the flute as well as sewing, just to kind of heal my inner child, which is another one of my more vague goals that I have included under this category. And along those same lines, I want to learn to bake 10 things. I loved baking as a kid and kind of fell out of that as an adult as I've gotten busy, but now that I have the time to, I want to get back into that and learn to make sourdough and homemade cakes and just do all of that fun stuff. Another skill that I want to develop through these goals is to learn Spanish, at least somewhat fluently. On my mom's side of the family, several people speak Spanish, and that is something that I want to learn as well. The way that I put this next one is to make our house a home. So I really want to focus on getting our house organized and decorated and just really making it more of a homey feel than it is currently. Growing up, I worked relatively closely with the Tooele County Children's Justice Center and have worked with them a little bit through my photography business as well. And one thing that I've always wanted to do is sponsor a family for Christmas through them. So I included that on my list to make sure that it happens sooner rather than later. So some of the more vague things that I have under my personal growth category are to heal my inner child that I've already mentioned. And then I also want to romanticize my life. So just enjoy the little things more and just appreciate my day-to-day life a little bit more than I typically do. And I also want to cultivate my personal relationships. So that is one thing that I've always kind of struggled with how big of an introvert I am, quite honestly, and I really want to make an effort to just spend more time with family and, like I mentioned, go on trips and just different things along those lines. Now, the last thing that I want to talk about in the personal growth category is my goal of creating a habit of white space. This is a concept from one of the photography mentors that I work with. Her name is Sabrina Gephardt, but basically the concept is to just schedule time in your calendar, whether it's like a full day, a half day, a couple of hours, whatever you can, to you schedule that time so that you don't schedule anything else there, and during that time you do whatever fills your soul and whatever you may need. So sometimes that may look like reading a book and taking a bath, going on a walk, sometimes that may be getting work done depending on what exactly your schedule may look like. But yeah, it's really just setting aside that time to dedicate to yourself and what you may need in that moment. Now on to the last category of my 30 before 30 list, which is my businesses. I have some big goals for myself in my life, and so especially with being laid off, I am really taking this opportunity. Oh, they just turned on the lights on the hotel. So yeah, I'm really taking this opportunity to focus on my businesses and develop these and to work for myself, which has always been a huge goal of mine. I've always had a bit of an entrepreneur spirit. So when it comes to my photography business specifically, I do want to make a full-time income from this. I want to make this my full-time gig in addition to content creation. And I also want to go on a business retreat. Like I mentioned earlier, Sabrina Getbard is one of the photography mentors that I work with, and she does an amazing retreat once a year, twice a year, sometimes just depending on her schedule, and I would absolutely love to be able to participate in her, I believe it's a 3-month program that she does. I would love to just be able to participate in that program through my business. And then when it comes to my channel specifically with Jessica Anywhere, I want to get monetized on YouTube. So that has always been a big goal of mine ever since starting my channel, of course, and I am really going to make the effort to make that happen now that I have the time to. And then lastly, I do have a few goals that applies to both of my businesses. So the first one is I want to rank on page 1 for Google. So both for my photography blog as well as my Jessica Anywhere website that is in the works. That's the first time that I have kind of talked about that. I'm super excited. But yeah, I really just want to provide helpful content, and Google is one of the best places to do that, so I really want to focus on my SEO to where I can rank in the top of the search results. And then I also want to do some sponsorships with both. So obviously that's going to look a bit different for both my photography business as well as here, but another big goal in getting a full-time income from both of these is to start getting sponsored. And then the last goal that I want to talk about is blogging consistently. So like I mentioned, with both Jessica Anywhere and my photography business, blogging is something that I am doing and am focusing on, and I really want to create a consistent schedule with that to help provide educational content and of course to help with my goal of ranking on Google as well. So yeah, that is everything on my 30 before 30 list. I had a ton of fun putting this list together and making this video for you guys, so I hope you enjoyed it and that it was helpful for you in putting together your own 30 before 30 list. If you did enjoy today's video, don't forget to like, comment, share, all of that good stuff for engagement and help get my video in front of other people who may enjoy it as well. And if you're interested in traveling the world and building your dream life, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and turn on notifications so you don't miss any of my future videos, where that's exactly what I talk about here at Jessica Anywhere. I hope you have a wonderful week, and I will see you on Friday with my next video. Bye!